Good day, everyone. I just went to check something real quick. Unfortunately, my rooftop is still only half complete. The guy that's working on it is complete moron. And he just took another job on this as well, which he now prioritizes. So yeah, I'm still here with only half the rooftop done. Pretty pissed off about it. So, let's move on. We have no need to talk here any longer. YouTube channel, Watch channel. We've reached over 100 videos on the YouTube channel. I'm very pleased about that. I will continue to upload at least this month. Afterwards, I may or may not stop, depends on just how much subscribers and views we gain. We'll see. If it goes well, then we'll just keep going. If it doesn't, well, I may come back if any of the videos just suddenly pops up and we gain a bunch of subscribers. But for now, it is what it is. Watch channel also uploaded some new what's from the recent live streams. We have now 20 videos, also pretty good. Without further ado, I think we can head straight into the articles. I don't think there's any need to wait. I might gonna have to mute myself. Depends if somebody comes here. If not, then we should be relatively fine. We got. I'm gonna switch to the article and I'm gonna count just how many articles do we have? 2, 6, 10, 14, 15 articles and 1 mini news and 2 Twitter bazaars. No gaming news. Gaming news is put at least on IGN. I am kinda lazy to check other sites. Might gonna have to do that if there are no interesting articles tomorrow. For now, I don't think I do need to. I don't think we need to make. Okay, that should be ended now. Without further ado, we can head straight into the articles. I'm gonna cut it out in the VOD so you don't have to listen to it. We got the article about the elections. I think I'm gonna take a sip of water actually. Sorry about that. Okay. We got Axelrod says Biden is not winning this race. If you do not know who Axelrod is, he is apparently a former member of Barack Obama's team. So he seems to have made a statement that Biden will not win the upcoming elections. Let's read it. Democratic strategist David Axelrod said Sunday he doesn't think President Biden understands he is not winning this race against former President Trump. There are certain immutable facts of life, and those were painfully obvious that on the debate stage, and the president just doesn't seem to come to, or he hasn't come to grips with it. He's not winning this race. Axelrod, a senior advisor in the Obama administration, said on CNN's Inside Politics. As I said before, you picked this candidate, you picked Biden. You were saying that he is fine, he's completely fine, he can do it. Yeah, then you got your fucking wake-up call because you were so fucking delusional. This is yours and yours fault only that this has happened. If you just look at the data and talk to people around the country, political people around the country, it's more likely that he'll lose by a landslide than win narrow this race. Exod continued. And if these stakes are as large as he says, and I believe they are, and then he really needs to consider what the right thing to do is here. Like, this would be almost historic that if the incumbent president who said he's going to run for re-election just dips at the last second and switches his place with somebody else, that would be honestly, like, if I was a voter, then I would give it to the Democrats. I would just said, well, fuck you too, I'm not voting for you. This is what I would do. Imagine you live in such state of delusion only for you to finally wake up after the first debate. And imagine if the debate happened after the candidates were locked. Like, the Democrats would be fucking done. Then they would be fucking trying to pull strings behind the scenes to, swap him with somebody else, even though I don't believe it is possible once the party formally announces you as the candidate for president. Then I don't believe you can be switched. I don't know how that works in America. I mean, this is what my common sense says to me, that once the party says you're the candidate for the president for the election or re-election, then you cannot no longer dip, unless you would be obviously oofed by somebody. Or if you oofed by natural causes. Or natural causes. The interview Sunday comes after Axelrod responded to Biden's primetime interview on Friday by calling the president dangerously out of touch with voters' concerns. Oh, good morning. I'm actually surprised the Hill includes Kennedy, that most of the media just don't include this guy at all. I mean, it's not like I do like him or anything like that. I think he's just as bad as these two. However, he's younger than these two candidates, so there you go. Listening to the interview, he seemed to deny where he is in the race. He seems to not grasp what is the big concern that people have, Axelrod said Sunday about Biden's performance in the interview. Axelrod noted the tremendous loss and tremendous odds Biden has faced in his life and how he has always fought his way back from that. Very interesting. Okay, so I just saw something out of my window. He's fought his way back from political defeats and against the odds, and so his psyche is that he can beat anybody and any long odds. No, this is a massive amount of copium. He doesn't believe it's the people around him that made him believe that he can defeat him. It's the people around him that made him think that he still got it. No, he doesn't got it. He did not have it in 2020, for fuck's sake. I mean, this is only the fault of the Democratic Party that they did not manage to pose anybody good for the 2020 election. And this is your result now. Like, who are you going to get there? Probably Gavin Newsom. Most likely. And I think they're gonna do it, maybe considering what the French did in the election, what Macron and the left-wing coalition did to bolster their chances of success as much as possible. Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about that as well. That's also going to be a fun little topic. What he can beat his father time, and that's really the concern here. It's not about his record, Axelrod said, later noting that the history will be much kinder to him than voters are being right now. Arguable. The president has remained defiant as some in the party have raised concerns about whether he should stay in the race following his difficult debate performance. I mean, he won the primaries. Like, he won the fucking primaries. He should stay in the race. I mean, I don't know why this is even a debate. Yeah, take your fucking L. You deserve it. You deserve the L that you did not see this coming. Fucking be adults and take the fucking L. Cupids. Five House Democrats have called on him explicitly to stay aside. House, I think they mean Congress. That matters little to none. In the Hill Decision Desk HQ's national poll average, the two candidates remain in a close race, with Trump leading by 1.1 percentage point of 44.2% support to 43.1%. And I would assume then you got the undecided and Kennedy voters. Well, another debate is in September, I believe. So, I mean, it would be good if the Kennedy somehow managed to pull a debate with one of them. Probably Biden, because he would just manage to own him and people would be more likely to vote for him than for Trump. Not like it is an event or anything like that. It's not even for the American people. A win for American people would be electing somebody normal and somebody who is ideally below 60 years old. But yeah, as I said, take the L, Democrats. You deserve it. It was you who said he is completely fine to run for election. It is you who've been sipping all that copium for these last 4 years. Maybe more than 4 years. You've been sipping and sipping that copium, and now it comes back to bite you. Take the L and find some good fucking candidate for the next elections. It's not that hard, for God's sake. If you are telling me that there is no one, literally no one among the 70 or something million people who voted for Biden to run for the president, then you are lost. I'm sorry to tell you. You as a nation are lost. You as a party are lost. It's going to be very interesting to see how these elections will turn out. It is possible the Trump could win by a landslide if Biden stays, and the next debate outcome is exactly or even worse than it was this time around. I don't think it will be the case. I'm not sure who is going to be hosting the next debate though. If it's going to be Fox News, then yeah, it's going to be really tough for Biden. And especially when they saw the CNN did the thing where they did not have any sort of notes or anything like that. Like, he was really lost. But that's still up in the future, so hey. Next up, we're gonna talk about something historical. Something interesting, or at least what is interesting to me. We got a Napoleon's pistol sell for 1.69 million euros at auction. Napoleon later gave the pistols to his squire Armand de Caulaincourt, who passed them to his descendant. Two pistols owned by the French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, with which he once intended to kill himself, have been sold at auction for 1.69 million euros. The weapons, which were created by the Paris gunmaker Louis-Marie Gosset, had been expected to fetch between 1.2 to 1.5 million euros. Sorry about that. They were sold at the Osenat auction on Sunday next to the Fontainebleau Palace, where Napoleon tried to take his own life following his abdication in 1814. The pistol sales comes after France's cultural minister recently classified them as national treasures and banned their export. This means the French government now has 30 months to make a purchase offer to the new owner, who has not been named. It also means the pistols can only leave France temporarily. The guns are inlaid with gold and silver and feature an engraved image of Napoleon himself in profile. He was said to have wanted to use them to kill himself on the night 12th April 1814 after the defeat of his army by foreign forces meant he had given up power. However, his Grand Squire Armand de Caulaincourt removed the powder from the guns and Napoleon instead took poison, but survived. He later gave the pistols to Caulaincourt, who in turn passed them to his descendants. Also included in the sale were the pistol's original box and various accessories, including a powder horn and various powder tamping rods. Auctioneer Jean-Pierre Osenat said the image of Napoleon at his lowest point was being sold alongside the objects. Napoleon memorabilia is highly sought after. One of the Tricon Fiat hats that became a part of his brand sold for 1.9 million in November. The historic leader returned to power in 1815 following his exile to Mediterranean island of Elba, but went on to be defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. He died in 1821 after his second banishment, this time to the island of St. Helena in South Atlantic. I only wanted to read this because hey, I'm interested in history. So it was interesting for me. I don't think many of you are going to be interested about it, but hey, if you're ever going to become a dictator then and have a suicidal tendencies, then hey, maybe have one maybe have one gun, fail on you so your descendants, if you have any, or your friends can then later sell it for like 10 million euros or however much it's going to be worth in the future. So we can continue. We have a Washington top news article. June scissors to 13th straight month heat record. Spring may end soon, but dangerous heat won't. Alright, we got an article about climate. Earth's more than year-long streak of record-shattering hot months kept on simmering throughout June, according to the European Climate Service Copernicus. There's hope that the planet will soon see an end to the record-setting part of the heat streak, but not the climate chaos that has come with it, scientists said. The global temperature in June was record warm for the 13th straight month, and it marked the 12th straight month that the world was 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit, warmer than the pre-industrial times, Copernicus said in an early Monday announcement. As I said sometime before, I did not really felt it much in my region. In my region, it was pretty ugly weather, actually. And it wasn't any that warm, at all. One would expect June to be pretty sunny, however, the weather here was that throughout the day it would be very chaotic. Like you could woke up to the pretty sunny weather, however, like quite richer, and half an hour later it would be cloudy, it would be raining, and this weather would carry on all the way until like 6 p.m. when it would magically just start to be sunny again. Obviously, when it starts to be sunny like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., like you're not gonna feel like going for a 2 hour, walk. As I said, I would love to also take some longer walks because hey, it's nice weather. I just like to be outside and get some fresh air. However, when the weather is unstable, I just don't feel like going outside. I don't want to go return home all soaked. And especially if I also am sweaty, which I'm usually am, I do also try to lose some weight. So it's not a good thing. There we go. Yeah. It's dark warning that we are getting closer to this very important limit set by the Paris Agreement. Copernicus senior climate scientist Nicolas Julian said in an interview, the global temperature continues to increase. It has at a rapid pace. That 1.5 degree temperature mark is important because that's the warming limit nearly all the countries in the world agreed upon in the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, though Julian and other meteorologists have said the threshold won't be crossed until there's long-term duration of the extended heat, as much as 20 or 30 years. But there is more than this. This is more than a statistical oddity, and it highlights a continuing shift in our climate, Copernicus director Carlo Buemto said in a statement. The globe for June 2024 averaged 16.66 degrees Celsius, which is 0.67 Celsius above the 30-year average for the month, according to Copernicus. It broke the record for hottest June set a year earlier by a quarter of degree, 0.14 degrees Celsius, and this is the third hottest of any month recorded in Copernicus records, which goes back to 1940, behind only last June and last August. It's not that records are being broken monthly, but they are being shattered by very substantial margins over the past 13 months, Julian said. How bad is this? Asked Texas A&M University climate scientist Andrew Desser, who wasn't part of the report. For the rich and for right now, it's an expensive inconvenience. For the poor, it's suffering. In the future, the amount of wealth you have to be mere inconvenience will increase until the most people are suffering. Oh yes, the inequality of wealth is also one of the worries. The rich have been getting substantially richer over the last years. Over the last decades, the wealth has shifted major towards the top 1%. And nowadays, the top 1% holds most of the wealth compared to the rest of the population. And it's only going to get worse, it seems like, at this point. Invest into stocks, invest into maybe ETFs if you do not want to bother yourself with actually creating a viable strategy. Invest into commodities, indexes like S&P 500, Nasdaq 100. This is not a financial advice. Be careful with your finances. Do not trust other people who say they will give you like 20-50% returns in a year. No, If you want such returns, then do it yourself. If you want to have 50% returns on your investments every year, do it yourself. If you think somebody other is going to do that for you, then you are a fool. You are a little fool. Learn to invest and earn that money yourself. Even without hitting the long term. Yes, I think. Yeah, even without hitting the long term 1.5 degree threshold, we have seen the consequences of climate change. These extreme climate events, Julian said, meaning worsening floods, storms, droughts, and heat waves. June's heat hit extra hard in Southeast Europe, Turkey, Eastern Canada, and Western United States and Mexico, Brazil, Northern Siberia, Middle East, Northern Africa, Western Antarctica, according to Copernicus. Doctors had to treat thousands of heat stroke victims in Pakistan last month as temperatures hit 47 degrees Celsius. That's a lot. Also, we read an article about heat waves in Greece some times ago that even people there were, I think, were instructed to not go to certain places during the day as it was way too hot over there and it could harm their health. They could get a heat stroke or maybe even worse. June was also the 15th straight month that the world's oceans, more than 2/3 of Earth's surface, have been broken heat records, according to Copernicus data. Most of this heat is from long-term warming from greenhouse gases emitted by the burning of coal, oil, and natural gas, Julian and other meteorologists said. An overwhelming amount of the heat energy trapped by human-caused climate change goes directly into the ocean, and those oceans takes longer to warm and cool. The natural cycle of El Ninos and La Ninas, which are warming and cooling of the Central Pacific that change weather worldwide, also plays roles. El Ninos tend to spike global temperature records, and the strong El Nino that formed last year ended in June. Another factor is that air over Atlantic shipping channels is cleaner because of marine shipping regulations that reduce traditional air pollution particles such as sulfur that cause a bit of cooling, scientists said. That's why to mask the much larger warming effect of greenhouse gases. That masking effect got small and it would temporarily increase the rate of warming that is already caused by greenhouse gases, said Tianwe Yuan, a climate scientist for NASA and the University of Maryland Baltimore campus who led a study on the effects of shipping regulations. Also, oceans are quite a bit polluted by human waste. Some of you maybe have Googled pollution of the ocean and you see a lot of plastic garbage in the oceans. Really ugly. Then you have also fish who might get caught into it. Very nasty business. This is also one of the problems that the humanity need to solve, the pollution. Not just the air pollution, but the pollution of air, not air, the ground, waste, garbage. It has to be solved somehow. We have to reduce our waste, otherwise it's not going to be good for our planet as well. Climate scientist Zig Hausfather of tech company Steps and Berkeley Earth Climate Monitoring Group said in a post on Twitter that with all 6 months this year seeing record heat, that there is an approximately 95% chance that 2024 beats 2023 to be the warmest year since global surface temperature record began in mid-1800s. Copernicus hasn't computed the odds of that yet, Julian said. The US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration last month gave it a 50% chance. That's quite a lot. Global daily average temperatures in late June and early July, while still hot, were not as warm as last year, Julian said. It is likely, I would say, that July 2024 will be colder than July 2023, and this streak will end, Julian said. It's still not certain, things can change. All I want is sunny weather. I don't really care if it's hot or not. I would prefer if it's not it's warm, not exactly hot. However, I want sunny weather. I don't want this weather I've been subjected to for the last 2 months. Andrew Weaver, a climate scientist at the University of Victoria, said the data show Earth is on track for 3 degrees Celsius of warming if emissions aren't urgently curtailed, and he feared that an end to the streak of record hot months and the arrival of winter snows will mean people will soon forget about the danger. Our world is in crisis, University of Wisconsin climate scientist Andrea Dutton. Perhaps you are feeling that crisis today. Those who live in the path of peril are experiencing a hurricane that is fueled by an extremely warm ocean that has given rise to a new era of tropical storms that can intensify rapidly into deadly and cause 2 major hurricanes. Even if you are not in crisis today, each temperature record be set means that it's more likely that climate change will bring crisis to your doorstep or to your loved ones. Copernicus uses billions of measurements for satellites, ships, aircraft, and weather stations around the world, and then reanalyzes it with computer simulations. Several other country science agencies, including NOAA and NASA, also come up with a monitor climate calculations. But they take longer, go back further in time, and don't use computer simulations. Alright, this is the article. As it is important we control the weather on our little planet, otherwise it will cause us a lot of damage. Obviously we cannot control it completely because we would be setting an alarm to when the weather would once again slip from our grip, and it would cause major damage to the humanity. However, we do need to reduce the emissions, the CO2 we emit, because if the runaway green gases indeed continue to go up, it is possible we might create a cycle where the greenhouses will just keep going up and we will end up like Venus. That is possible, it might happen. A lot of climate change deniers or climate deniers say all of that CO2 is just going to get, it's going to slowly get incorporated back into the earth, which is going to create oxygen. Yes, but you need a lot of trees for that, a lot of plants, and considering we are growing a lot of plants and flowers and trees as we speak, it is not looking very likely that it would happen like that. The first option, that the runaway green gases will just keep going, seems more and more likely. Which is something we don't want. Like, this could kill our humanity. This could realistically be the death of our humanity before we would be even able to actually go out in the universe and explore it. Nobody would ever know that we existed. There would be no heritage left from us. And when our planet or our solar system would finally be found, there would be no life left. Nothing that would indicate there ever was life before. There would be only 2 planets filled with CO2, 2 hot planets, completely barren wastelands, with no indication that there was life before. Only when the alien races would actually excavate the Earth and possibly Venus, would they found a signals that there used to be life many years ago. So yeah, that is it. And let's go to the next article. It's about France. France elections end up with no clear majority. This is what could happen next. I'm gonna take a sip of water and I'm gonna take a pause. For the reason I need to have my throat ready. I definitely want to say something about that. And I want my message to be as coherent as possible. I know that's going to be hard with my capacities at the moment, but hey. France's election happens, and I definitely have something to say about the way the democracy works or doesn't work in the Western world at the moment. So yeah, I'll be right back in like 10 minutes. There we go. So, sorry about that very long pause. However, I needed to make sure my throat is going to be good enough for the next article. We got France's election end up with no clear majority. This is what could happen next. The elections happened. You could see the the Rassemblement National did not get many mandates, not as many as people once anticipated. However, going this a failure would be a grave mistake, as even though Rassemblement National did not get as many mandates as it would probably imagine, the popular vote was staggering. They got, and I'm gonna show it to you actually, give me a moment. I did not actually even switch the scene, so fuck. Luckily we did not move to anything, but I'm gonna show you right away. Let's go to the political. So there is legislative election second round results. You could see the NFP got 32.6% of seats, Ensemble at 27.9, AN 24.6, less Republicans 8.3, others 6.6. So we're now gonna take a look on the popular results. Group. The new popular front, despite having 32.6% of the mandates, only got 26.3% of votes. Ensemble got 28% of the mandates despite having only 25% votes. Rassemblement National got 24.6% of mandates, despite having 37% of votes. The Republicans got 8.3% of mandates, even though they only got 6.2% of votes, and the other got about 1% more mandates than they got votes. This is another example that the democracy does not work in countries like France, in countries like England, in countries like United States. In democracy, your vote is supposed to be equal. Yet, in so many instances, it is not. Your vote is not equal. There are people whose vote is much more worth than yours. And there are people whose vote is worth far less than yours. Realistically, Rassemblement National should have got 37.1% of the mandates. They got about 13% less mandates than they should have, as they should have in a working democracy. They would still not be able to create a majority government, I assume, because they would not get any coalition partner. However, it would everyone would be worth equal. And people would see just how much the RN had grown. Now, people see this as a major victory. I see this as a major wake-up call for those two parties. And I'm gonna say something right away. They will be going into very uncertain times up ahead. They're gonna be ruling for 5 years, I assume. Or maybe until the next elections are coming up, which is still in 3 years, or yes, in 3 years, I believe. You got the war on Ukraine. You have uncertain economy. Oh my god, somebody wrote a cup, all cops are bad, bro, just, you're cringe, just fuck off. Bro, you're in France, not in the United States. If you so much have a boner for the United States, then move there, you fucking loser. Imagine spraying on your fucking historical monuments, you worthless, spineless pigs. Anyways, as I said before, if the democracy worked as it should have, then people would just see just how much the IN had gained in power, or in voters base to be more precise. You could see they even gained 4% more since the first round, and people were saying just how much the Mario Le Pen had impact the Mbappe effect, they call it. Yeah, that the Mario Le Pen had dared to talk against him. She gained 4% votes. It worked. The reason why they got so little mandates is because a lot of the candidates that were going for the elections were pulled out. They pulled out. So there's only one candidate that people could have voted for. Therefore, they gave their voters the ultimatum. Either vote for us or vote for the RN. And the voters had definitely, some of the voters did not like it. A 4% of voters, realistically, about 3%, maybe 2.5% voted, did not like what these two parties did. Or even probably Republicans and others probably did the same thing, not sure. And they gave them the hell. And you could see the New Popular Front even lost 4% of the votes. Since the... only 2% of the votes, sorry. I was looking at the ensemble. The ensemble gained 4% of the vote somehow. Well, somehow from the other parties they reached. Or maybe because the other parties also pulled out, so they just had to vote either for the ensemble or for the RN. However, this should be a big wake-up call. And people in France are celebrating it as a major victory. This is not a major victory, this is a one massive wake-up call for all of them. If they're gonna mess up, which is very likely, I'm gonna say it right away, the state the economy is today. We are getting a lot of positive data. However, look at the stock markets. They are at their absolute highs. They are extremely overbought. They are overheated. Yes, they are overheated. Just look at the Nasdaq. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna pull it out actually right now. Nasdaq 100 index, 5 years. There you go. We got Nasdaq. 20,000. In 2019, Nasdaq was, let's not look at 2019. At the beginning of the 2020, Nasdaq was worth 8,700. Now it is worth almost 150% more. It's not 157% more. That would be counting from this line, from the 12th of July 2019. We are looking from the 1st of January 2020. Since then, 150% uptick. If you do not see what's wrong with that, then I don't know. This is one massive bubble. We got some correction here, then the values went down for a bit. You could see it was going down to 2,000, 10,000, and it seemed to be, getting under control. However, after that, we started to get a AI bubble. And just with that, like that. Let's see about here. There was the collapse of some banks. Some banks had went into bankruptcy, so this went a little bit down. And afterwards, the AI bubble, the AI hype started going up. And now, from almost 11,000, 12,000, which was 11,000 in the 6th January of 2023, we went to 16,000 almost. After that, we were in the range for a while. Some corrections here and there. There was a lot of nervosity about the 10-year bonds going high. However, it did break the 5% rate for the 10-year bonds. However, it went down real quick afterwards. The United States government did something and everything was safe. And afterwards, once again, it started to go up. And from, let's see, the lows from the 14,200 in 27th of October 2023, it went to 18,300 in the 1st March 2024, which 18,300, 14,200. That is a massive gain just in this short period of time. I'm gonna show it in 6 months actually. Well, not in 6 months because you will not be. Actually, this is even better. Look at this, 22.7% uptick. If you think this is okay, this is not okay. This is very scary. 35%, almost 36% up since the last year. So it went almost since that fall in October, since the 5% hit on the 10-year bonds. It went up by pretty much 35%. Under a year, it went from its lowest point. This is very, very unsettling sight. I know how this was supposed to be talk about the French politics. However, let me put you into context. If this bubble ever just explodes, if it's torn to the pieces, then the world economy is going to collapse. The world economy is USA and USA only. If USA collapses, then you could bet that the economies in Europe are going to go to the fucking grave. Not 6 feet under. Fucking 50 kilometers under. Europe is a joke compared to the United States, and we all know it. And now imagine this happens in any time between 2024 and 2027, before the next, or maybe even longer, before the next elections for the French parliament. Yes, now we are getting there. Imagine if the economy just collapses. Oh yeah. Oh. The RN is going to get more than 50% of popular vote. And that is going to be a big problem for the Europe. If people do not like RN, I personally do not know much about that. I know they want to do deportation, so I'm definitely very skeptical about that. Simply because those people in France who migrated there, most of them, good portion of them have jobs. They provide taxes to the national budget. So if you deport them, then you just cripple yourself for no reason, just because of, for political points with your followers. However, if the economy collapses, if everything goes to shit, then those deportations, oh yeah, nobody will, very little people will actually mind. No, they will promise them that life will be better. And very subtly, they will just take all of the migrants and send them to shit. Unless a massive migration wave begins to march into Europe because of a climate destabilization. That's also a possibility. If that happens, then something like deportation is going to be the least of your worries. If millions upon millions of people, talking about more than 15 millions of people, just gets up from their asses and march into Europe, then all I'm saying, I'm gonna tell you that Europe is going to fall. Europe is going to fall. You will simply not be able to withstand this pressure. And there will be rise of radicalism of all sorts, from left to right. There will be people who will be proposing the iron solution, something that you should never ever support. You do not want to be remembered in history as the one who gave the order. You do not. And I do not want to live to that day to see, we are killing each other because of a poverty, because of fools. I do not want to see that in 21st century. I want 21st century to be a evolution of the human race. I want to see us start conquering the outer space. I want us to conquer the solar system. I do not want us to keep mindlessly murdering each other like a pack of monkeys that we are. So, that's about enough of my end. The new government is going to be in a very tricky situation. A very, 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 very tricky situation. If the economy collapses, and there are signs that the economy will face a lot of stress, alright? I'm not gonna fearmonger you. Okay, I have fearmongered you enough. I'm gonna be now a little bit more subtle, a little bit more positive. Well, not a positive, but a little bit of calmer. If the economy goes under pressure, then people will get even more angry with the government. And since Macron is going to be still involved in ruling, the new Popular Front needs Macron to rule. So there'll be just a lot more people who are going to start, going to the RN, because simply there'll be complete disillusion with the government, with the way that the elections had happened. They will see New Popular Front as incompetent, as they probably are. The New Popular Front is a coalition of many, many parties. That is not good. If many parties do a coalition, it's usually never good for you, because there's a lot of ideas to be done, and even if they actually agree on some points, it's usually a messy compromise which will not please a good portion of their wings of voters. So it is very likely that they could implode Sure, you got the new pass of Mélenchon. However, what I hear about Mélenchon is that he and Marine Le Pen are about as equally popular with the regular French people. So there you go. We're gonna read the article now. I think we have ranted quite a bit. Paris AP. Election results show French voters have chosen to give pro-leftist coalition the most parliamentary seat in pivotal legislative elections, keeping the far right away from power. Yet no party won an outright majority, putting France in an uncertain, unprecedented situation. President Emmanuel Macron's centrist alliance arrived in a second position and the far right in third, still drastically increasing the number of seats it holds in the National Assembly, the France's lower house of parliament. And the leftist coalition, it depends how Macron goes around with it. If he figures it out, if they try to force his hand and he calls them out for it, they cannot do anything. Because if they bring down this government, this new government, they're gonna probably fund with the Macron, then the people will be very angry with the left wing. Simply because they gave them the vote to keep the RN from power. And a lot of people will have a hard time breathing over this. They will most likely move to Macron, or maybe they will choose a much more drastic option. So the left wing will have a hard time pushing Macron if he figures it out and if he actually calls them out. If he keeps them, keeps them ordering him and his party, then they're gonna have an easy time ruling. However, if Macron is stubborn, then it's going to be a very turbulent rule. And that's likely going to happen in upcoming months. After the euphoria from winning is going to pass over, then there are going to be a lot of differences that both the parties just won't be able to go over, and a lot of times they will be forced to do a compromise just to not let RN to have their way, which is going to anger more people to actually go for RN most likely, is what I anticipate. Obviously it can happen differently. As I said, I think one thing will happen, only I think, okay, this is not a financial advice or anything. I think one thing will happen, it may not happen, it may happen. However, you should be taking it with relative seriousness. Otherwise, one day, if you wake up and the economy collapses, then you're going to be fucked. You're going to be fucked. Unless you are the 1% of the rich, then you're going to be completely okay. Oh, you're gonna have a time of your life. You're gonna have slaves. You're gonna have everything you could have ever wanted. You're going to be the 1%. You're gonna be the bourgeoisie. You're going to be the royalty. President Emmanuel Macron's centrist alliance arrived in second position, and the far right in third, still drastically increasing the number of seats it holds in the National Assembly, France's lower house of parliament. I probably read that already. No clear figure has emerged as a possible future prime minister. Macron said he will wait to decide his next steps and heads to Washington this week for a NATO summit. Oh, so he just dipped. He said, alright, not today, bruh, and just decided to dip for a NATO summit. I don't blame him. It's probably going to be a lot of negotiating, and he probably wants to be as far away from it as he can. The new legislators can start work in Parliament on Monday, and their first new session starts on July 18. A hung Parliament. 3 major political blocs emerged from the election, yet none of them is close to the majority of at least 289 seats out of 577. Yeah, and people were celebrated in the streets like it was one. I mean, this is going to be a lot of debate because neither of the party has a clear majority. They are very equal in power. Therefore, it is very possible that Macron is going to push back hard against the leftist alliance. And if he actually gets the Republicans into the alliance as well, then it is possible that he will be actually the one dictating. And the left-wing alliance is just going to, and he's just going to start sucking up the voters from the left-wing alliance, which is possible that might happen. It is possible. It then depends only on the government propaganda and the propaganda of the media to sway the opinion of the public. If they actually manage it, then the left-wing alliance could be completely dismantled by the next election. Unlikely, though in some other universes it might happen. The National Assembly is the most important of France's two houses of parliament. It has the final say in the lawmaking process over the Senate, which is dominated by conservatives. I have no idea who is in the France's Senate, and I'm not really interested. While not uncommon in other European countries, modern France has never experienced a parliament with no dominant party. Such a situation requires lawmakers to build consensus across parties to agree on government positions and legislation. France's fractious politics and deep divisions over taxes, immigration, and Middle East policy make that especially challenging. This means Macron and his allies won't be able to implement their pro-business policies, including promise to overhaul unemployment benefits. It could also make passing a budget more difficult. Oh yeah, pro-business government that's been raising the retirement ages. A lot of people did not forget about that. However, considering just how many people switched to Macron, it seems a lot of them actually forgave him for that. Sorry about it, I'm just playing with my microphone. Just like a little baby. There we go. Can Macron make a deal with the left? That is a question. He will, obviously. Because either he makes a deal with the left or I'm not sure. I don't think the Republicans have enough seats. No, they do not have enough seats. Not near enough. However, with the Republicans, he would have 209 seats compared to the left-wing 188 seats. It would be very close. It is already very close. So, I mean, negotiations are going to be very hard because both of these parties are pretty strong and neither of those parties will be willing to make concessions because they know if they make concessions first, they will look weak to their voters. And if they look weak to their voters, especially this alliance, which formed, then those voters will just flock to the ensemble. New Popular Front, which is Communist Party, France Unbowed, Greens, Socialist Party. Yeah, Communist Party. Yeah, that is one reason why I do not like the New Popular Front. Sure, only 1.4% for the Communist Party. However, the fact you actually allowed communists to join your alliance is self-explanatory. I do not care who you fight against. I do not like neither the communists nor fascists. And if you were able to make a communist, if you were able to make an alliance with the communists, I simply cannot support you in any way. So I mean, I guess the only party I stick with is the Ensemble. As I said, I do not know much about the Rassemblement National. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. I do not know anything about Ensemble National at all, so I cannot tell much. I know, as I said before, I know they are pro-deportation, so that's boring. Therefore, as I said, I will not say I support them on anything rash like that. A lot of voters actually participated, almost 66.6%. Damn. Let's head back to the article. Macron may seek deal with the moderate left to create a joint government. Such negotiations, if they happen, are expected to be very difficult because France has no tradition of this kind of arrangement. Also, it is possible that he's going to make an alliance with these certain parties in that bloc, in that alliance, and the other parties are going to get screwed over, which would create a lot of drama, and it would probably be not good for the overall stability of the regime. The deal could take the form of a loose, informal alliance that would likely be fragile indeed. Macron said he would not work with the hard-left French Unbowed party, but he could possibly stretch out a hand to the Socialists and the Greens. They may refuse to take it, however. Yes, that's possible that the Greens and Socialists will be, and it's probably likely they will be loyal to the French Unbowed, and they will want to go all into the government, which if they do not make deal, then if the another election happens, then you can say bye-bye probably to any chances of ruling, because the Rassemblement National will probably gain much more voters if they see you incompetent idiots who are not able to make a coalition. They're just gonna say, fuck it, let's vote for RN. Let's just vote for the right-wingers, for the far right. His government last week suspended a decree that would have diminished workers' right to unemployment benefits, which has been interpreted as a gesture towards the left. If he can't make a political deal, Macron could name a government of experts unaffiliated with political parties. Such a government would likely deal mostly with day-to-day affairs of keeping France running. Complicating matters, any of those options would require parliamentary approval. Oh, yikes. Is the left divided? The left has been torn by divisions in the past months, especially after the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel. France Unbowed has been sharply criticized by other more moderate leftists for its stance on the conflicts. Hard left leaders have staunchly condemned the conduct of Israel's war with Hamas and accused it of pursuing a jihad against Palestinians. They have faced accusation of anti-Semitism, which they strongly deny. I'm not gonna comment on this, I would have to see some of their speeches. Not completely impossible they are anti-Semitist. Not completely probable that they aren't. So that they are. Maybe I have mixed up now. Fuck. The Socialists ran independently for the European Union elections last month, winning about 13% of the votes when France Unbowed got less than 10% and the Greens 5.5%. Yet Macron's move to call snap legislative elections pushed leftist leaders to quickly agree on forming a new coalition, the New Popular Front. Their joint platform promises to raise the minimum salary from 1,400 to 1,600 euros, to pull back Macron's pension reforms that increases the retirement age from 62 to 64 years, and to freeze prices of essential food products and energy. All that has financial markets worried indeed. Where are you going to find money for that? That's the same questions people have for the Rassemblement National about their ideas to fix the economy. It just seems they're going to be borrowing more money to do all these these grandiose ideas. However, in the end, it's going to in-depth French even more in what is already a critical situation, because the world debt is in a very uncomfortable place. Now, apologies for showing you the screen once again, but I'm going to once again show you the US debt. it should not have moved much, so you probably won't see any differences right away. I'm gonna take a look on this as well. So there, as you can see, the US national debt has been somewhat still. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna actually take a look on the, I should have it somewhere here. Where's US debt? US debt from the 2nd of June 2024. The US debt for the last month, the 2nd June of 2024, the US national debt was 34 trillion 788 billion US dollars. Now it's almost 100 billion more. The debt per citizen had increased a little bit by $231. Debt per taxpayer has remained stable, increased only by one, so it's no big deal. The federal spending went up, everything in the stop for went up. What's more interesting is the... Wait, this can be right? So apparently on the 2nd of June 2024, the interest on the debt was $841 billion. And the spending on the defense war was $894.5 billion. That would mean that the Defense Department got 10.7 or 8 billion more since that time. However, the interest on debt had grown by almost 47 billion US dollars. It's almost caught up to the defense, which I said sometime before that if this goes past the defense and war, we got a major fucking problem. When then interest on the US debt goes beyond their spending on fucking military, on their fucking defense and war, we know there's something really wrong going on. US total debt is almost 101, I assume this is trillion dollars, I assume. Last time it was 500 billion lower. Savings per family also went down. I'm not going to bother with more details on it. However, this is also important to check the US national debt. Also, you can... Okay, this site can't be reached. Oh, it can be reached. Nice. Also, you should check the US debt clock or the world debt. I did not screenshot this, so I cannot tell you how much it changed. However, I'm gonna screenshot it afterwards, after we end the stream. And I'm gonna keep you informed on it. So yeah, where's France? Here. French national debt is 3.8 trillion United States dollars. Their GDP is 2.9 trillion. Their public debt to GDP is 128%. The external debt to GDP is 290%. That is a lot. That's 40% higher than the US public debt to GDP ratio. Very tough times, as I said. This is definitely very worrying. Like, what is going to happen, like, when this is going to break? Why is a temporary government needed? Prime Minister Gabriel Attal offered his resignation on Monday, but Macron... Prime Minister Gabriel Attal offered his resignation on Monday, but Macron instead asked him to remain temporarily as the head of the government after the chaotic election results left the government in limbo. Attal has said he is ready to remain in the post during the upcoming Paris Olympics and for as long as needed. Attau's government will handle current affairs pending further political negotiations. Macron's office says he will wait for the new National Assembly to organize itself before making any decisions on the new government. There is no firm timeline for when Macron must name a prime minister, and no firm rule that he has to pick someone from the largest party in parliament. Indeed. The president term runs until 2027, and he has said he will not step down before its end. With no majority and with the possibility of implementing his own plans, Macron comes out weakened from the elections. He will not step down because he knows there's probably no one else who could candidate from his party. Therefore, it could theoretically be Mélenchon versus Le Pen, a duo that nobody wants to see on the presidential election going head to head in the first and second round of the presidential election. They do not want to see them go head to head in the second round. Like, the French people would be fucking depressed. And who would win? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. If you would ask me in 2022, then Mélenchon would win. Now, I think he would still win. However, it would not be as decisive as it would be in 2022. In the line with France's constitution, he still holds some power over the foreign policy, European affairs, and defense, and is in charge of negotiating and ratifying international treaties. The president is also the commander-in-chief of the country's armed forces and holds the nuclear codes. There is a possibility the new prime minister would be unable or unwilling to seriously challenge Macron's defense and foreign policy powers and would focus instead on domestic politics. The prime minister is accountable to the parliament, leads the government, and introduces bills. A rough times coming for the French in both economic and political sense. I do not think it's going to be calm next year. I think it's going to be very heated up, and it's going to be Macron trying to reach off as many left-wing voters as possible. They will do their absolute best to make them look incompetent, and they will make the absolute best to reach as many as possible so they can challenge the Assemblée Nationale in the next election, and this time go for the absolute majority, for the supermajority. They could get to actually rule the parliament once again without the need for coalition. So yeah, this is it. This is the article. I think it's going to be a very toxic relationship between the RN and the between the ensemble, between the Renaissance and the left-wing bloc. Yeah, he calls his party Renaissance. So yeah, it's going to be very toxic, and the voters are probably going to be very tired after the next years of rule between these two. Moving on, we got an article from Le Parisien. I'm not going to butcher this headline this time. My throat is pretty much destroyed. We got enough protests in Barcelona against mass tourism. Some 2,800 protesters, according to police, marched on Saturday to demand a change in the economic model for the city, the most visited in the country. I'm not surprised. The tourists are often very rude. Whilst they provide you with a lot of money to your city, they also are very rude, and they also cause some damage to the city. And it's probably very tiring for the locals to actually cope with the tourism all day long. They probably want to meet more of their fellow Catalonians or Spaniards. Thousands of people demonstrated in Barcelona on Saturday against over-tourism in the capital of Catalonia, which welcomes thousands of visitors each year. Anger that is growing in Spain, the world's second most popular tourist destination. Under the slogan Enough, let's put limits on tourism, some 2,800 demonstrators, according to the police, marched to demand a change in the economic model for the city, the most visited in the country. We have nothing against tourism, however, we do have an opposer to the excessive tourism because it makes the city unlivable, explains Jordi Guru, a 70-year-old sociologist from Barcelona, behind the banner reading Reduce Tourism Now. The protesters marched chanting slogans such as tourists out of our neighborhoods, stopping in front of some hotels to the surprise of visitors. Critics of over-tourism mainly denounce its effect on housing prices. Rents have increased by 68% over the last decade, according to Barcelona City Hall, but also its harmful consequences on local business, the environment of the working conditions of local employees. Indeed, we actually read an article about a rising prices of housing in I believe it was Canary Islands. Yes, I think it was Canary Islands. Or the other very popular destinations, Ibiza. One of those people were also very tired of increasing housing prices, that basically people who are not native to the place just buy it and then rent it to the other tourists, make a lot of money of it, and the locals simply cannot afford it. End of tourists apartment renters by 2029. Everyday businesses are closing to make way for a business model that doesn't fit the needs of the neighborhood. People can't pay the rent, they have to leave, complains Issam Miralles, a 35-year-old musician who lives in Barceloneta neighborhood. Barcelona welcomed more than 12 million tourists last year, according to the city council. To make it easier for residents to access housing, the town hall recently announced that it wants to put an end to the rental of tourist apartments by 2029. From the Balearic Islands to the Canaries, passing to the big tourist cities of Andalusia like Malaga, movement hostile to over-tourism are multiplying in Spain. Second most popular tourist destination in the world after France, Spain welcomed a record of 85.1 million foreign visitors last year. The most visited region was Catalonia with 18 million visitors, followed by Balearic Islands 14.4 million and the Canary Islands 13.9 million. Tourism in Spain represents 12.8% GDP and concentrates of 12.6% of jobs. Yeah, as I said, tourism provides benefits, however, it also provides hardships. And I think people are definitely tired from all that tourism, and they do want to have a little bit more peace and just more affordable housing, it seems like. However, it would be very hard to actually reprogram the economy to something else. You just cannot pull this 12.8% of the GDP out of your pocket. You have to find it somewhere. So this is one hardship the Spanish government or the Catalonian government is going to have to go to actually find out, to find a way to maybe lower the tourism, the annual tourism a bit. That is, if they actually bother with this request. Possible. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we're gonna read about it in some time. Alright, moving on. I'm gonna take a sip of water before we start. Okay, we can continue. Erdogan says he may invite Syria's Assad to Turkey at any moment. As you know, there's a civil war still ongoing in Syria. The president's forces had been gaining more ground, I believe. In the last years, it seems the situation on his front has stabilized, and he's beginning to have warmer relationship with other countries, especially Muslim countries and places like Russia. Although Russia had supported him for years, so more like some other Soviet states, some other Soviet satellite states like Kazakhstan and other places maybe start bombing up to him sooner. Istanbul. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Sunday, July 7th, said he might invite his Syrian counterpart Bashar al-Assad to Turkey at any moment in a sign of reconciliation after the 2011 war broke ties between Ankara and Damascus. Erdogan's comments come after tensions had mounted over past weeks after a mob went onto the rampage, vandalizing businesses and properties owned by Syrians in central Anatolian city. We may send an invitation to Assad at any moment, Erdogan told journalists aboard a plane from Berlin, where he watched Euro 2024. We are going to be talking about that as well. The official Anadolu news agency and other media reported. So, what some of you might not know is that the Turkey actually invaded Syria in sometime 2016, 2018. The Turkish forces actually entered the territory of Syria and captured some villages, some parts of it. However, what I remember is that it was a big debacle for him. So about it, Erdogan did not make as many gains as he would envision. And all of that culminated to him going to Moscow, where he was seated next to Putin in a room with a historical meaning, to say at least. Basically, he was seated very close to the statue of, I believe it was Russian hussars killing Ottoman soldiers in some battle of 19th century. Some major, victory for the Russian Empire in the 19th century. So that was a sort of a very smart humiliation of the Turkish president, because he had to go back to Moscow for an advice, you could say. Turkey originally aimed to topple Assad's regime when the Syrian conflict erupted, with the violent suppression of peaceful protesters in 2011 and backed rebels calling for his ouster. Oh, so they were actually low-key at war with him since 2011. Also, Turkey is a NATO member, by the way. So yeah. If there are any arguments that NATO is the aggressor, well, you kinda have your black sheep. But more recently, Ankara has shifted focus to preventing what Erdogan in 2019 dubbed as a terror corridor from opening up in northern Syria. He has long said he could reconsider ties with Assad, as his government is working to ensure safe and voluntary return of Syrian refugees. Speaking to journalists, Erdogan said some leaders, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, suggested to mediate a meeting with Assad in Turkey. We have come to such point that as soon as Bashar al-Assad takes steps towards improving relationship with Turkey, we shall show him the same approach, Erdogan said. Violence. Turkish authorities this week detained over 470 people after anti-Syrian riots in several cities sparked by accusations that a Syrian man had allegedly harassed a Syrian minor in Kayseri. Erdogan on Monday blamed the opposition for stoking tensions and condemned the anti-Syrian violence as unacceptable. The fate of Syrian refugees is a burning issue in Turkish politics, with Erdogan's opponents in last year's presidential election promising to send them back to Syria. That is not a good thing to do, considering Syria is a war zone. That is not a humanist thing to do. Turkey, which hosts some 3.2 million Syrian refugees, according to UN data, has been shaken several times by bouts of xenophobic violence in recent years, often triggered by rumors spreading on social media and instant messaging applications. So Turkey has over 3.2 million refugees. That's quite a lot. The riots in Kayseri spread to several other cities, including Istanbul this week, while clashes between armed protesters and guards of Turkish positions in Syria's north killed 7 people. Turkey has launched a string of offensives in Syria since 2016, targeting Kurdish militias, Islamic State group jihadis, and forces loyal to Assad. Yes, I was talking about this. Pro-Turkish forces in Syria now control 2 vast strips of territory along the border. On Monday, hundreds of Syrians demonstrated throughout the Ankara-controlled area, with some armed protesters attacking Turkish trucks and military posts and taking down Turkish flags. Erdogan has vowed to reveal which dirty hands triggered the clashes in northern Syria. According to the Syrian Observatory, the 4 borders crossing with Turkey have been shut in wake of the violence. There was no immediate confirmation by the Turkish government. I don't have much to tell about it. I already did. I don't really have many opinions about this. Erdogan is relatively close to Russia, and befriending Assad is another step closer to. Sorry. Sorry about it. To what I would say is a normalization of relationship between Russia and Turkey. Normalization is an operative word. They've been somewhat of a good pals for the last years, even after the war, although the Turkey also has taken a more of a skeptic stand towards Russia in the early stages of the war, simply because they know that the Western countries would be very they would be very bitchy about it. So they just played along, and nowadays they just are stabilizing their relationship with Moscow once again and are going to the friendlier terms. Simply because the Turkish and the Russian values are a bit closer than the Turkish and the European values. So yeah, moving on, we got we got an article about Germany. Germany abandons air transport base in Niger. The German army wanted to maintain its last base in West Africa for the time being, but the German government was unable to reach an agreement with the Houthis in Niger. Now it is drawing the consequences. As you know, Niger is or was a French colony, and the name Niger was given by the French. So this is the pronunciation from Niger. It's not like the English are sometimes pronouncing it. No, it's Niger. So if you are afraid of saying the word because it reminds you of something other, than you can say it now easily. Niger. There you go. The German army will give up its remaining air transport base in West African country of Niger. This is the consequence of the failure of negotiations on legal immunity for German soldiers. The base in Niamey is to be closed by August 31st, and the soldiers will be relocated back to Germany, the Ministry of Defense told the Bundestag representatives on Saturday. If you did not follow, there was something I would call a quick succession of coup d'etats in the Western Africas, all of them were sponsored by the Wagner Group, back when Prigozhin was still alive, and all of the leadership of the Wagner PMC. Nowadays, the Russians are still present in those countries. They do exploit them for natural resources so they can wage war in Ukraine, and also to reduce their debt, which is very useful considering the world is indebting themselves very fast. In the light of this situation, in the recent weeks, the German government has reassessed the planned cooperation with Niger. The letter was made available to German press agency as Deutsche Welle learned from its sources. The current agreement on the presence of German soldiers in Niger runs until August 31st, 2024. The draft agreement submitted by Niger cannot serve as a basis for negotiations on a status agreement, neither in terms of its character nor its content. The ministry continued, it does not grant immunities for German soldiers. At the same time, we do not have the time to negotiate a new status agreement. The positions are too far apart in view of the inadequate draft agreement. It was also decided to stop negotiations on a status agreement. Development policy not affected. The military cooperation and training projects jointly managed by the Federal Ministry of Defense and Foreign Affairs will not be pursued any further. The Defense Ministry in Berlin later announced this, stressing at the same time the political and development policy relations are unaffected by this. The ministry will continue the bilateral training assistance and the bilateral annual program at a low threshold in a non-retail areas. Most recently, 38 Bundeswehr soldiers were stationed at the base in Niger. There are also 33 employees from Germany and foreign companies. However, this base has recently only served as a so-called code base, which is not used but can be activated quickly, for example in the event of necessary evacuations for Germans in Africa. The withdrawal is estimated to take around 6 weeks, which is why it should begin in mid-July. Help for previous Maui deployment. At the end of May, the European Union announced that it would end its mission in the African country with dozens of soldiers on June 30th, citing the serious situation in Niger as the reason. Niger was a partner of the West in the African Sahel region in the fight against Islamist terrorists until a coup in 2023. Since 2013, Germany had used the base in Niamey as a supply center for the German armed forces in neighboring Mali, which were deployed there as a part of UN peacekeeping operation MINUSMA. The last German soldiers left Mali in 2023. Russia has now become increasingly military active in the region. On July 26 last year, the military in Niger overthrew the democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum, seized the power in the country and turned increasingly towards Russia. In December, the last soldiers of the former colonial power France left the country at the request of the new rulers. The German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius has advocating the continuing cooperation with the Butchers on a small scale and under certain conditions. After the coup in the neighboring states of Mali and Burkina Faso, Niger was long considered the last democratic partner of Europe and the USA in the Sahel region in the fight against international terrorism. Islamic terrorist militias are close to the terrorist groups Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State have been spreading in the region for years. And I just hit my headphones. Also, this is not a good thing because the Islamic operations could now have a much better environment to breed new soldiers, the new generations of fighters that could cause terror attacks on Europe or USA. So that's not good either. Russia is going to keep exploiting these countries. Also, this might be a little bit of a conspiracy theory, maybe a bit of a perfect moment. However, I do think eventually those regimes might collapse. A massive war might erupt over there in the Sahel, and a lot of people will be displaced and will start marching on Europe. Maybe in the upcoming years, and Europe will be forced to make a decision to accept them or to let them starve to death, or send aid in countries like Tunisia, Algeria, Libya, countries which will not want to house these refugees for long. So it is very possible that this could cause a massive headache for the Europeans, and it could start to be the fall of the Europe as we know it. I'm not saying it because those new people would have a different culture. I'm saying it because those people would be angry, they would be tired, and it is very likely that there would be a lot of people with ill intentions, which would spark an ill intentions from certain people in Europe, which could cause a catastrophe. So yeah, that's why I'm saying it. And if someone pulls the trigger, then the people who immigrated to Europe are going to defend themselves. They will not let themselves be slaughtered, obviously. So we could be headed in a really, really rough area. Very uncertain times. Moving on, we got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 more articles. We've been pretty slow today. Not that I mind, however. I think I'm gonna take a pause after the next 2 articles. I think yes. My throat is already a little bit dry, so I needed to and also a little bit disturbed. I needed to take a break. Journette, Spain. Xavier Palas plants his feet on the belfry floor, grips the rope, and with one tug fills the lush Spanish valley below with reverberating peal of a church bell. Clang, 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 clang. The swinging bronze bell resonates with each strike of the clapper, filling the small stone tower with undulating hum. Once Palas finishes his peals, the metallic melody fades to stillness. Silence returns to the tower, giving the valley's soundscape back to the birdsongs and rooster crows. Wow, what storytelling. For most, church bells are just a quiet bit of automated background noise, but Palas and his 18 students at Bar School of Bell Ringers are trying to change that by resuscitating the dwindling art of tolling and communicating by hand. The shift to mechanical toll devices over the past century has flattened the bell's dynamic songs and muted their messaging power, Palas, the school's founder and director, said, "If played with the know-how, the sounding of church bells in various sequences and tones and rhythms can signal the time of rejoicing or mourning and when to run to the aid of a neighbor in need." For centuries, the tolling of church bells was our most important communication method, said Palas, standing inside the belfry which doubles as his classroom. Machines cannot reproduce the richness of the sound that we used to hear, so there has been a simplification and unification of bell ringing. The language has been lost letter by letter until now, when we are finally recognizing its worth. Before newspapers, radio, telephones, television, and the internet, it was bell ringing that transmitted important information, a physically demanding job that requires long hours and complete dedication. To be a bell ringer was to be a human clock and a loud public loudspeaker. While manual church bell ringing has persisted in Eastern Orthodox countries, it has largely been replaced by bell ringing systems in Catholic and Protestant churches in the Western Europe. Many of Spain's church bell towers that were automated in the 1970s and 80s are in a dire state, said Palas, who witnessed widespread problems while researching the belfries in Garotchka, a county in northeast Catalonia. The rural area is known for its verdant hills, dormant volcanoes, picturesque villages where most people speak Catalan before Spanish. Its research included the 12th century Santa Roma church in Joanetes, a tiny village about 2 hours north of Barcelona, where Palas has spent the past 10 months teaching the inaugural class once or today a month. Since the last generation of bell ringers had died off, the only thing to do was to train new ones on how to toll the bells, and that's where the idea of school was born, Palas said. Intangible heritage. The initiative comes 2 years after UNESCO added manual bell ringing in Spain to its Compendium of Humanity's Intangible Cultural Heritage. UNESCO described how the bells had knitted together communities even before they were functioning modern states. The first thing we have to do is to rediscover the bells. That is why this school is so important, said Ramon Capdevila, president of Catalonia's Bell Ringers Brotherhood. Brotherhood now? There are so many ways to ring a bell, what we need are bell ringers. The bell ringer score is officially recognized by the ISCRAB Theology School in Barcelona, finished last week with demonstration by the class. All down to the area of banging bells, the students were men and women with diverse professional backgrounds, ranging from engineering to teaching. One was in his 20s, several were retirees. They spent the first few months researching odd chiming sequences, documenting their origins, and learning to play them. That ethnographic task meant students had to search out the odd bell ringers. Or their family members to record what they know. Rosa saw it jumped at the chance to reconnect with her childhood by recovering and playing the chiming sequence that had sounded in her grandfather's village when he was baptized. The bells formed a part of my life, said Sori, who now works in artificial intelligence. She missed their constancy while studying for her computing doctorate in Boston, where she heard note. When I visited my family, I began to associate the sound of church bells with being back home. The human touch. The students took turns towing sequences for everything from calls to Easter Mass, bad weather warnings, help providing a fire to order for a village militia. For the village militia, they could also tell workers to get back to reaping wheat or house fires when the fresh fish was coming to market, and even how much it cost. Many of the ringers bought earplugs or headphones to muffle the deafening peals. Sorry. The students taught a gamut of deaf announcements that could specify gender and social class. Juan, 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 Juan Carlos Osuna, and two others taught for the death of a woman. That meant swinging the largest bell at 400 to 29 kilos. It still had a clapper secured in the traditional method of using dried skin of an ox penis. Okay. Osuna, who paints church murals, also performed a complex sequence with all four of Belfry's bells that required him to sit in a chair with ropes looped around his hand and feet. Wow, it's an emotional experience. You feel your blood pumping, you feel the strength and how you are communicating with everyone in earshot, he said. For me, it is an honor. It's a way of an honor to both humans and God. The hesitation, the variation in the strength of each tower, and these details and sometimes mistakes, the listener can hear the creator of the sound. The automated hammer will always be mathematically precise. Osuna said, there is an emotion in the human touch, there is a human element. Utopian, quixotic, maybe not. What might seem like a quixotic mission had so far had a promising start. While admitting that his dream of having becoming Bellinger for every Beltor is utopian, Pallas said he had a full class lineup for the fall and some 60 more people on waiting list. Many of his graduating pupils, including Sauri and Osuna, hope to continue playing at their local parishes or help to convert to their belfries into systems that allow manual ringing. Pallas believes that a recovery of bell ringing in neighborhood or town's life could help strengthen communities in this dizzying age of technological, economic, and political change. This is a means of communication that reaches everyone inside a local community and can help it come together at concrete moments, Pallas said, that can include a death in the community or the celebration of a holiday. It can help mark the rituals that we need. And this was a very long article. I did not expect it to be this long. That's what she said. Okay. I'm gonna take the pause now. My throat is burning. I need to calm it. I'm gonna be out for like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna show the next article. And I'm gonna take a pause now, so see you soon. There we go. My throat is feeling a little bit better. Not by much, but it's better than it was 10 minutes ago. I'm gonna take a sip of water right now. I still feel it quite a bit, not exactly pleasant feeling. Yeah, for me streaming is definitely quite exhausting. Especially for my throat. Like I'm really not used to speaking much, so this causes a massive stress on my throat. So whenever I speak for longer than 2 hours, it just starts falling apart. It's a good training for me though. And hopefully I will be able to talk for longer durations. I'll be able to talk for longer as the time goes on. Well, I'll do this longer until I stop streaming, which this month might be the last. We'll see. We'll see how the YouTube algorithm is going to treat us. If it treats us well, then I'm gonna keep on going. For now, I'll be more towards the ending side. I'm gonna make even, the final video and shit like that everything is going to be ready, and maybe I'll come back if the algorithm ever is going to make me famous. Or before we went, I'm gonna definitely make some speeches. Even though I'm not very good at making speeches, I'm gonna do my absolute best to rehearse them and then publish them on YouTube. Maybe that would bring some views, and maybe some people will like it, maybe not, we'll see. But right now, I think I'm going to cut some articles short, because my throat is definitely not feeling too good. We've been streaming for at least 2 hours, so that's good. So we're gonna skip some articles. I'm gonna skip the Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced mandatory housing targets to get Britain building again. That seems a little bit boring, so we're gonna skip it. I want to cover this. Crew of NASA members simulated Mars habitat emerge after a year. Definitely want to cover this, so we're gonna keep it. Dutch Spaniard far-right parties to join Orban's Patriots. We definitely gonna cover this. Putin sees no need for nuclear weapons to win in Ukraine, but he's also keeping his options open. This is an interesting article, however, pretty much it's something we should all have deduced, that he will not be using nuclear weapons at the moment, so I think we can skip this. NATO leaders will vow to pour a weapon into Ukraine for another year. We're gonna skip this as well. This is just, yes, we're gonna keep supporting Ukraine. The another article is about Andrew Tate, so we're gonna definitely cover it. And this one is about a nationalistic gesture made by a Turkish footballer. I think we're gonna skip this as well, although it's definitely an interesting theme to cover. However, I just don't feel like covering it. Although it's only 4 articles, we can do it. My throat should be able to handle 4 articles. And then we got this, the Optimus scan for the shard, the rate of improvement for Optimus bot is insane. I want to cover this, but I think I'm gonna use it on the Twitter Bazaar. I'm not going to be making a video out of this, I'm just going to put it in Twitter Bazaar. Somebody message me, so I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna check it right away. Hmm. 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 Who knows? Anyways, we're gonna move on now. I read the message. I'm gonna check the notification. Some spam account followed me. I'm a professional music promoter. Do you need Spotify promotion, YouTube promotion, YouTube SEO, Instagram promotion, 1000 year and organic services? Somehow I doubt that. Okay, we're gonna keep this for a Twitter Bazaar. And we can go now. So, articles, quick Twitter Bazaar, we're just gonna watch it. I'm gonna say a little bit to it, and then my throat is going to be free. Crew of NASA's Earthbound simulated Mars habitat emerge after a year. As we all know, the space agencies, Elon Musk and some other people, have made it their goal to start colonizing the outer Earth, the universe, in late 30s, 40s, 50s, and onwards. Sorry about that. So far, everything is still in a larva stage. However, I think the AI is definitely going to have an impact on the pace this space colonization is going to go. I think the AI is going to be very helpful for us to hasten the space exploration and hopefully space colonization. There are difficulties that will have to be overcome, especially the spatial radiation. There is a radiation in space. And even on places like Mars, where the atmosphere is simply not thick enough, this is something that the Earth is going to have to handle. They will have to start terraforming Mars as soon as they land. It is going to be a very difficult challenge. Also, you have to keep in mind the Olympus Mons is a massive, gigantic, enormous, completely impossible volcano that has about almost 30 kilometers in height. 3 times higher than Mount Everest. And if this thing ever explodes, ever erupts, then the entirety of the life on Mars would probably be wiped out or could be in dire danger. So that's something you have to also consider. It's definitely going to be very interesting what the Earth will do to Mars. Hopefully we'll be able to produce some sort of life there and start expanding outwards of our solar system. Right now, they are still in the larva stage. However, I think the explosion of the universe the explosion of the outer space will begin in the late 2070s. I think if we do not destroy ourselves by a nuclear warfare or World War III, then the explosion of the outer solar system will begin in the late 2070s. This is my prediction. So let's read the article. The crew of a NASA mission to Mars emerged from their craft after a year-long voyage that never left Earth. The 4 volunteers crew members spent more than 12 months inside NASA's first simulated Mars environment at Johnson Space Center in Houston, coming out of the artificial alien environment Saturday around 5 p.m. Gary Huston, Anka Serrario, Ross Brockwell, and Nathan Jones entered a 3D printed habitat on June 25, 2023. As the maiden crew of the Space Agency Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog project. Huston, the mission commander, began with a simple hello. It's actually just so wonderful to be able to say hello to you all, she said. Jones, a physician and the mission medical officer, said their 378 days in confinement went by quickly. The quartet lived and worked inside the space of 1700 square feet, that's 157 square meters, to simulate a mission to the red planet, the fourth from the sun, and a frequent focus of discussion among scientists and sci-fi fans alike concerning a possible voyage taking humans beyond our moon. The first Chapea crew focused on establishing possible conditions for future Mars operations throughout simulated spacewalks, dubbed Mars walks, as well as growing and harvesting vegetables to supplement their provisions and maintaining the habitat and their equipment. Yes, the maintenance will be very difficult on Mars. Simply, if something breaks, then you would have to wait an entire year to actually fix it. And by that time, something other may break. So this is one issue that the Earth is going to have to solve somehow. We need to be able to transport equipment, the maintenance equipment, and more to the Mars within maximum month. Like anything beyond 1 month is going to be a grave danger to the crew on the colonization mission or the research mission and everything like that. Obviously they're going to have a reserve sources, however if something breaks, then it's going to be very dire situation for those astronauts out there, and we need to be able to react quickly to save them, to not let them die there, because if somebody dies, then people will be very much skeptical about exploring space, and this would cause decades of fallout from the public and from the corporations, as they would deem it to risk. However, we have to do that, we have to take the risk, we have to explore the universe, we have to get out of the solar systems, so we have something else to do than to infight between each other. They also work throughout challenges a real Mars crew would be expected to experience, including limited resources, isolation, and delays in communications of up to 22 minutes with their home planet. On other side of the habitat walls, NASA said, 2 additional Chapel missions are planned, and crews will continue conducting simulated spacewalks and gathering data on factors related to physical and behavioral health and performance, NASA said. Steve Corner, deputy director of Johnson Space Center, said most of the first crew experimentation focused on nutrition and how that affected their performance. The work was crucial science as we prepare to send people onto the red planet, he said. They've been separated from their families, placed on carefully prescribed meal plans, and undergone a lot of observation, Corner said. Mars is our goal, he said, calling the project an important step in America's intent to be the leader in the global space exploration effort. Emerging after a knock on the habitat's door by Kiel Rindgren, an astronaut and the deputy director of flight operation, the 4 volunteers spoke of the gratitude they had for each other and those who waited patiently outside, as well as the lessons learned about prospective manned mission to Mars and life on Earth. Like, how insane would be if they just broke out of that room and they found out that World War III is going on. Like, that would be a surreal feeling. You just walk out of the room and you just hear, nukes flying around, fucking humanity going full bazooka. That would be like, can we go back inside, please? Bergwell, the crew's flight engineer, said the mission showed him the importance of living sustainably for the benefit of everyone on Earth. I'm very grateful that we to have this incredible opportunity to live for a year within the spirit of planetary adventure towards an exciting future. And I'm grateful for the chance to live the idea that we must utilize resources no faster they can be replenished and produce waste no faster that they can be processed back into resources. Bergwell said, we cannot live, dream, create, or explore any significant diamond. We want on to live these principles, but if we do, we can achieve and sustain amazing and inspiring things like exploring other worlds, he said. Science officer Anka Selario said she had been asked many times by this fixation of Mars. Well, it's the closest planet, it's a red planet, it's something different. People would be more fixated on Venus, however, Venus is hot. Venus is like 400 degrees hot. It's completely lifeless. I mean, you maybe saw the pictures from the Soviet probe that went there. It was a very lifeless environment. Yet it somehow felt really familiar. It had some sort of really strange feeling, like you had seen it before. Not like because yes, it's a stone planet, just like no, but it just felt like it. Like it just felt like a deja vu. I don't know. It just felt really familiar. Don't know why. We cannot live, dream, create, or explore any significant time frame if we don't live these principles. But if we do, we can achieve and sustain amazing and inspiring things like exploring other worlds, he said. Science officer Anka Serrao said she has been asked many things, but there is a fixation on mass. Yes, I read it again. Apologies. Why go to Mars? Because it's possible, she said. Because space can unite and bring out the best in us. Because it's one defining step that Earthlings will take to light the way to the next centuries. Indeed. Yes, okay. Yes, this is just an. This story has been updated to correct the group members lived in 700 square feet of space, not 17,000. Yes, this is definitely the way exploring the universe. However, we do have to sort out a lot of demons we have inside of us. If we do not manage to solve a lot of the demons that been plaguing us for centuries, or that infighting, or that wrath, or that cruelness, all of these nasty things that all of these nasty things, all of these nasty sins we still do to this day, then we as a species will likely fail. Whether it is before or after we meet an extraterrestrial species is a question. However, if we cannot solve this, if we cannot become something like the and I do outside, if we can become something like the Star Trek The Next Generation type of humans, then we will probably face a downfall. Probably not just like them, because if you remember correctly, first season, I mean, they were literally almost took over by a parasitic bugs. Yeah, so probably not that much. But hey, the Star Trek The Next Generation has a lot of interesting, mm, a lot of interesting scenes that we can definitely take to our hearts. Whether it is regarding to safety and stuff like that, or regarding to establishing contact with other species. It definitely can provide us with a idea how to handle potential encounters and potential exploration of other planets to not be, enslaved by a parasitic bugs. So yeah. Moving on. We got a EU article. So Dutch, Spanish far-right parties to join Orban's Patriots for Europe. Yes, Orban and two other countries, one of which it's my own. So Orban, I believe it was the Austrian party, and the Czech party, Anno 2011, had created a new political, I don't want to say party, however, political group, ideological group in EU. Before you can create a political group, you need to have at least uh, seven different members to join, which they did. A lot more than seven actually joined. I heard even the Rassemblement National joined. Now they will be led by Bardella, who did not make it to be the Prime Minister of France, so he'll be in EU. as well as many other parties like Portuguese Chega and then Polish Confederation, which is party I do not really like. So yes, I'm a bit skeptical about this group. However, AFD will not be there, so I mean that's something positive. Jesus. Hungarian leader needs only one more national party for its right-wing alliance to qualify as an official grouping in the European Parliament. I believe this was published before, yes, Rassemblement Nacional joined, so they have enough members now. The leaders of the Dutch and Spanish far-right parties plan to join the new right-wing alliance being formed by the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. The move would leave Orbán on the brink of gaining enough members to form an official new group on the far right of the European Parliament and potentially subs the power of the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who has lost members of her own grouping to Orbán's Patriots for Europe. Also, they're gonna get, I believe it was Lega from Italia. It was either Lega or Forza Italia. Not quite sure which one of these. I think it was Lega, Salvini's Lega, that joined his group. The Netherlands' Geert Wilders said Friday he wanted his party from Freedom to join the Patriots for Europe group to protect our Judeo-Christian heritage and our families. Spanish Vox leader Santiago Abascal told La Gaceta that his party would also join Orbán's alliance, withdrawing from Meloni's European conservatives and reformists. Abascal then sent apologetic messages on social media to Meloni, expressing a personal, political and moral bond and promising to continue to work towards a common historical project. Under the Parliament's rules, an official grouping requires 23 MEPs from 7 countries, former groupings of parties, to gain financial and procedural advantages. They already have enough MPs from the beginning. Orbán had 11, I believe, then Ano had, I think it was 7, maybe 6, 7, something like that, and the Austrians had like 9 or 8, so they had just about enough to form the group. They just needed more parties to join. Orbán has fulfilled the first requirement with 37 MPs, and with nationalist anti-immigration parties from Hungary, Austria, Portugal and the Czech Republic now joined by groups from Spain and Netherlands, he needs only one more national party to cross the line. And that party was Rassemblement Nacional. Orbán so far has been rebuffed by Poland's Law and Justice, PiS, and they will not join. I think it's already confirmed that they will not join. They will stay with their current party. But the FT reported on Friday that the France's national rally, Marine Le Pen's party, was also in talks to join Orbán's alliance. The shifting alliances on the fractured far-right come after a European election in June, in which a Meloni's group became the third largest in the parliament, while the more extreme Identity and Democracy ID group came fifth. If Le Pen's 30 MPs join Orbán's group, it would leave ID without enough members to survive. Yes, so AFD and some other parties that still stay there, they will be that. Sorry, not that. I mean, they would be irrelevant pretty much. And AFD was actually kicked out after, the number one man was talking about the Schutzstaffel, DSS, in a very peculiar way. I'm not gonna tell you anything more about it. There's a video about it on my channel. I might even gonna link it to you. In his message, overall nationalist parties now command a significant wing of the parliament, but so far they have demonstrated little coordination. In his message, Wilders added he wanted to support Ukraine. Orbán scandalized EU leaders on Friday by visiting Moscow to hold talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Sorry. And that's it. Okay, I thought it would be a little bit longer. Political just coming way too soon. Yeah. Yeah, the Ukraine is going to be a hot topic. However, I think the topic that we'll be discussing the most will be the immigration. Most of these parties are skeptical against immigration, and also they are skeptical against the current governments. This is what unites them. Their critique against the ruling parties of their nations is what unites them, so they will from some sort of a protest coalition. We'll see if they'll be able to achieve anything, most likely not. However, they could definitely raise noise, since the right had strengthened a little, somewhat bit, however not enough to make an impact so far. So maybe in 2028 or 2029, who knows? They might have a bigger impact, however, for now, the right still remains quite a bit obsolete. It's still up to the center left, center right, and left to create the directives. So moving on, we got a article now about Andrew Tate. This is the first time I cover this idiot. Court eases travel restriction for Andrew Tate as he awaits trial on charges of avoiding human trafficking. The Bucharest Tribunal's decision allows Tate 37 to leave Romania. He cannot leave the European Union. He can move freely about the EU, however, he cannot leave it. I don't not really agree with this, but whatever. It will only give him bigger chance to actually dip the entire continent and go somewhere where he would be immune or he would be safe from persecution. A Romanian court ruled on Friday that social media influencer Andrew Tate can travel within the European Union without restriction while he awaits trial. Tate awaits trial on charges of human trafficking, avoiding and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. Tate, along with his brother Tristan and two Romanian women, were arrested in December 2022 near Bucharest. Yes, you might have heard about it. 2022 was, I think it was the year of Andrew Tate. He was everywhere on the internet. I tried my absolute best to avoid it. I simply did not care. I only saw few videos. I saw some video with XQC. Obviously, XQC was pretty much the loser here, because I mean, his debating skills are completely horrid, completely pathetic. So I mean, he was blah, he was blah, 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 blah. Then I saw her son debating him. Her son pretty much rode him over, like it wasn't even close. Because I mean, her son, unlike XQC, actually can speak coherently, and is actually pretty good at debating. Then I know Moist Critical Charlie made a video about him, calling him out and shit like that. So I mean, that was about as much as I saw of him. I saw some of his shorts. However, I did not like it. I'm not really a fan of the male masculinity. The male masculinity on itself is okay. You want to be a bit masculine, alright? However, the things he does, he pretty much exploited people for his money. He exploited desperate men. I mean, it's your fault if you actually join his cause. If you unironically join his cause, then you're an idiot, and you should be restricted to, to actually, your finances should be restricted by the bank, because I mean, you cannot be quite richly trusted with your own decisions, and you are very grammatically inferior in finances. Let's read the article now. Occurred in Romania's capital Friday that social media influencer Andrew Tate can leave Romania but must remain within the European Union as he awaits trial on charges of human trafficking, eye-rolling, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. Yes, we read that before. The Bucharest Tribunal's decision to allow Tate, 37 years old, to leave the country was hailed by his spokesperson Matea Petrescu a significant victory and major step forward in the case. It is not clear whether the prosecutors can or will appeal the court's decision. Tate, a former professional kickboxer and dual British-US citizen, was initially arrested in December 2022 near Bucharest along with his brother Tristan and 2 Romanian women. Romanian prosecutors formally indicted all 4 in June last year, and all 4 have denied the allegations. Most likely guilty. After Friday's decision, Tate wrote on the social media platform Twitter, "I am free. For the first time in 3 years, I can leave Romania. The sham case is falling apart." More like the corruption in Romania is going strong. We embrace and applaud the decision of the court today. I consider it as a reflection of the exemplary behavior and assistance of my clients, said Eugene Vidiniak, one of Tate's lawyers, adding that the Tates are still determined to clear their name and reputations. LOL. One big fucking LOL. Reputation LOL. Fucking University for Masculinity. What the fuck? I still cannot fathom just how much some people are desperate, how much pathetic are some people to join such a thing, to waste your money on this. Just take your fucking money and invest it yourself into stocks, into fucking CFDs, into commodities, into indexes, into fucking crypto, into fucking everything. This is not a financial advice. Do not fucking give your money to others. Do not fucking expect to earn anything there. If you want to be a better man, then be a fucking better man. There you go. That's the secret. Be a fucking better man. You think you're pathetic? Stop being pathetic. Easy as that. Stop beating your meat to fucking random horse on the internet. Have some fucking good diet. Have some good physical health. All that comes in time with determination, period. There you go. There's your key to masculinity. All you have to do is to have a healthy lifestyle. There you go. There you go. I just solved fucking human masculinity cases. Thank you. No, you're welcome. Thanks. Jesus. On April 26, the Bucharest... On April 26, the Bucharest Tribunal ruled that prosecutors' case against Tate met the legal criteria and that the trial could start, but need not set a date for it to begin. That ruling came after other legal case had been discussed for months in the preliminary chamber stages, a process in which the defendants can challenge prosecutors' evidence and case file. After the Tate brothers' arrest, they were held for 3 months in police detention before being moved to house arrest. They were later restricted to Bucharest municipality near Ilfov County and then to Romania. Jesus, I don't want to see that face. Vitiniak said the ability to travel within the 27-nation EU bloc will allow Tates to pursue professional opportunities without restrictions. Oh yes, scamming more people for money. And even to this day, there's so many people who still follow this cult. Unbelievable how stupid can somebody be. Andrew Tate, who has amassed 9.5 million followers on the social media platform Twitter, has repeatedly claimed that persecutors have no evidence against him and then there's a political conspiracy to silence him. He was previously banned from various social media platforms for allegedly expressing misogynistic views and using hate speech. Yes, definitely innocent. In a separate case, Andrew Tate was served at his home in Romania with a civil lawsuit lodged by 4 British women after claiming after a claim issue was solved after a claim was issued by the High Court in London, according to a statement released in May by McCurry and Partners, the law firm representing the 4 women. The 4 alleged Tate sexually and physically assaulted them and reported him to British authorities in 2014 and 15. After a 4-year investigation, the Crown Prosecution Service decided in 2019 not to prosecute him. The alleged victims then turned to crowdfunding to pursue a civil case against them. I say. I mean, if I don't know, maybe it won't go somewhere, maybe it won't now. The I-word is nowadays much more sensitive thing than it was back in the day, so it is possible there is going to be much thorough investigation. However, with this time, with this delay, it is very possible that the evidence will simply no longer exist. Therefore, there will be no evidence against him, and he will have to be set free, and he will be able to scam more people. In separate case, the Tate brothers also appeared in March at the Bucharest Court of Appeal after British authorities issued arrest warrants over allegation of sexual aggression in the UK, case dating back to 2012-2015. The appeals court granted the British request to extradite the Tates to the UK, but only after legal proceedings in Romania have concluded. Romania is very corrupt, so this is going to take ages, if ever. Not exactly good news. I do not really like this guy. He exploits stupid males, which would not really bother me. However, well, it bothers me. It bothers me. The thing I wanted to say is simply he exploits people, he scams people. However, he's still able to walk alive. He was able to make all that money of human stupidity. On one end, I do applaud him, and I definitely applaud him because, hey, exploiting human stupidity, you go, boss. I mean, I'm not sarcastic on anything. Like, I definitely legit applaud you. Like actually well done. You were able to get Bugattis and Mansions because of human stupidity. You have my most sincere applaud. I will give you this much. However, it is wrong, and therefore I do take a stance against it. Business speaking wise, you did almost a masterpiece. Humanistic wise, you're a piece of human shit. So this is everything I wanted to tell about it, and we got a last article about Euros and a Turkish nationalistic waving. Euro 2024, Demiral suspended for 2 matches after this controversial gesture. Turkey considers the sanction unfair. Having scored twice against Austria, the Turkish defender Merih Demiral will miss the quarterfinal against the Netherlands. This is an old news, 3 days old at this point, so I'm not going to be probably reading this too long. However, Turkey then lost against Netherlands, so hey, they are out. I'll probably won't be covering it because I would be releasing this still after in July 10th, 11th. It would be way too old news, and nobody would care. I'm not sure what the gesture was. I'm not really well versed about nationalistic gestures of different cultures. I only know the Nazi, the Heil, and that's about it. I mean, I'm not sure even about what was saying. Yeah. Grey Wolves, I see. So Turkish far-right group. I would love to see if there is any record of the action. Why is it so bad? So I'm not quite sure. I'm actually gonna Google it. Turkey Grey Wolves organization. There we go. Wikipedia has discovered. Idealist hearts. You think of nationalist movement, but it is ultra-nationalist, neo-fascist, Islamon nationalist, sometimes secular and racist. I see. Death Squad and terrorist organization. I see. Its members deny blah blah blah. Prominence in political violence, guerrilla warfare with militias and activists. Scholars hold it responsible for most of the violence and killings in this period, including Maras massacre in 1978, which killed over 100 Alawites. They also alleged to have been behind the Taksim Square massacre, Nefbreider, in a Kurdish-Turkish conflict from 1978 onwards, the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul II in 1981. I see. Okay, so they are very naughty. Allies. Our parent hearts, which is not that unusual, but United States, of course. Of course. As long as you're against communists, you're the good guys, right? In the Cold War, the opponents ISIS, Kurdistan Workers' Party, Kurdish Hezbollah, Raiders organization designated as terrorist groups by European Union suggested. However, they are designated as a terrorist group by Kazakhstan, I see. There you go. And that's it. That's all the articles. I actually closed the article, so yeah, there we go. This is it. We're gonna go on the Twitter Bazaar real short and real quick, and then we're gonna dip. Then we're gonna go and I'm gonna rest. I've been talking for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, so it's enough. We're gonna take a look now. I post the music, I believe. Now we can already see what this is going to be about. Is this considered cheating? We're gonna play this and I'm gonna say something to it at the end. And before we start, yes, this is considered cheating, for fuck's sake. It doesn't matter if they don't fucking penetrate us. Like, come on, bro. He's such a dude pistoning his fucking girlfriend here. Doesn't matter if it's over pants or quite richer, penetrating it. Fucking an argument. It's in the heat of party. Nah, just doesn't apply, bro. Fucking, you're in a relationship with somehow. You should have a dignity to not, get so loose. So let's watch it.
Yo, tell me what this is.
Whoa.
Yo, someone just sent me this. Yo, tell me what this is about. What's that look for? You're not gonna tell me what this about? Bro, no, we're gonna talk about this, bro.
Talk about what? Talk about what? It's a fucking party. It's a party.
No, another nigga behind you? You gonna turn around and smile
So
at that?
what?
So what? No.
So what?
No.
I paid to go in the party. I dance.
This is what happens when you go out with the girls?
It's a fucking party.
It's a party?
So what?
Nah, this ain't partying. This is something else. What is that?
It's a fucking party. That's how winners dance in the Caribbean warm. You all of a sudden you're stupid. That is what winners do. With this dance.
You call this dancing? This is
I see. I was confused for a bit. For a second I thought it was a guy, but no, this was he. He was confronting the woman, but yeah, I mean, this cheating. I did saw sometime before that. Yeah, certain nations do this dance. No, simply not. I do not go. I do not care. This is just stupid, and this is not a dance. This is simply dumb. This is simply dumb. If you fucking, just thrust your hips against other women, and a woman that has a fucking boyfriend, then yes, I mean, that is a cheating. I don't give a fuck even if it's not a penetration or if it is quite mature penetration. Like, this is a cheating. Period. Like, it's a party. Bro, you are in a relationship. Stuff like this might be fun when you are single. However, or maybe do it with your, boyfriend or husband, or whatever. However, when you are fucking in a relationship and you do this with other guy, yeah, like, no. Simply not. In other words, it's a red flag. It's a massive red flag that you should not ignore. And you should send her straight out of your house. If you own a house. Which is also a pretty much commodity in the US nowadays. I assume that this is in the USA, but who knows. Next up we got the Dimas the nuke. Tesla FSD will save millions of lives. Elon Musk. Let's watch it. I'm not quite sure if the car on the left, this one, I'm circling around, is on the but how do you call it? On the automatic, it's just driven by the AI or whatever drives it when you put it on the automatic drive. Basically on the automatic drive, if this is. And if this is Tesla, I would assume this is Tesla because it looks kinda bland. There's no logo or anything, so I would assume this one here is Tesla and this one is a normal car. Not sure. But yeah, very nice reflexes actually. Very nice reflexes of whoever this is, like, or maybe if this was an automated car, then very good reflexes, because I mean, like, this could have been very much, how to say, this could have been fatal. Let's watch the comment. Okay, so this is the Tesla. And this was a regular driver being an idiot. Nothing new. My Model 3 has saved my butt a couple of times. Question is how many it will take before it masters the saving. My Model 3 has yanked me out of the way of lane drifters maybe once or twice in a year or so. How do you know FSD was engaged here? I mean, let's see. Well, the reaction here is kinda quick, like, let's show. Here, it starts, and just so it goes right away, like, it could be human factor, yes, it could be the human just quick with string. However, Sometimes the human is very confused. Right on here, everything is going normal, like, and suddenly from the left, just cars start steering on you. Like, who knows? I mean, it could be FSD. It may be human. However, we all have to give him we all have to give the props to this car for such quick reflexes. Could be. Well, we'll see. Not sure if this is really not sure if this is really a FSD or human. However, it is still impressive. It is very impressive. So I actually thought it would be just some shitting that FSD will have millions of lives, and however, it seems not. So hey, I stand corrected, and hey, it's cool. It doesn't have, like, I only have one video for the bizarre now, so I mean, I'm not going to make video out of this. The next thing is also about a robot. Optimus can Photoshop. The rate of improvement from Optimus Spot is insane. Let's watch it. Fuck. There's no music actually, there's no voice. I mean, okay, that's okay. I mean, what else do you want me to say? Like, just okay. I mean, sure, it's nice. However, like, it does not earn a massive applause. It's like, okay, that's neat, and that's about it. So hope you enjoyed, and yeah, like, I don't have anything else to say. This has been quite the dating stream. We've been streaming for a bit today. Not 3 hours, however, we've been streaming for a bit, like 2 hours, 40 minutes maybe. My throat is pretty much destroyed. Ouchie, ouchie. Hopefully it's gonna get better and I'll be able to talk for more than 2 hours or more than an hour without my throat just being completely in the mud. I mean, or in the desert is probably a better term, because my throat literally burns after I talk for such a moment. After this, I'm gonna go to and cut some videos. We have to make some content, as well as I have to upload one more video, so we actually have a video for the 2 hours from now. And then it's going to be, so I hope you enjoyed and have a good day. Peace out.